Hello, it is my great pleasure to have been hired as a host for this event. I don't endorse the products or services mentioned, but I am very happy to offer more information to miners or those who are thinking about mining. And our guests today are really well versed in what is important to miners, how to maintain value, how to address the current situation that's happening financially and environmentally, and how to maintain value, which is, of course, really important since we're in a bear market right now. So crypto is not for the short-sighted. Bear markets provide great opportunities for people who know where to find them. Mining is one type of opportunity because any minute that you find reduced competition is a minute of increased advantage for the active miners. So look at it as an opportunity, and it's very helpful when you think about the fact that anytime other people are scared to do something, when you're not, you have an advantage. So my guests are Anton Tsarenok, who is the Chief Business Development Officer of ViaBTC or ViaBitcoin, MarQuis Trill, who's the CEO of Blockchain, and he does an altcoin conference, and he is, of course, a Clubhouse legend. And Simon, who's also known as cryptoUK, who is a leading YouTuber in the blockchain space. So let's get started. Thank you guys all for being here. It's really great to talk to you. So let's talk really quickly about what mining is and why it's important. So mining is extremely important because it is essentially the process of creating new coins by solving extremely complicated math problems that verify transactions in the coin. It is the heart of blockchain. It is the way that blockchain is secured. It is our blockchains that use proof of work, particularly that are secured. It is the way to bring out new coins. It is essentially what makes the entire blockchain work. So it uses specialized hardware now. The days of being able to pop open a laptop and mine are long gone. You have to use specialized hardware now to process these transactions. You use an ASIC card, which is an application-specific integrated hardware. This is one of the reasons why it's been really hard to get some versions of PlayStations, because they have that graphics card that actually works for mining. They're actually limiting the number of people who can buy those, because so many people have been mining. It uses a specific algorithm to solve this math puzzle, which you may have known as SHA 256. Solving the problem, different miners will compete. And in order to solve the math problem, finding a missing number called a nonce, and whoever solves the problem first gets rewarded. And if it's the Bitcoin blockchain, you get rewarded with Bitcoin. So you get rewarded by the native token. And this also removes a lot of likelihood of fraud, because it's hard to add a piece of information that doesn't have a string of complex mathematic problems attached to it. You can notice that something's not actually from the main chain. It's actually a really interesting process. For those of you who've not done it before or not even looked at it, I strongly encourage you to do so. It's this very cool marriage of complex crypto cryptography and math and computer science that has come together into something that made something entirely new. It's such an innovative process that I strongly encourage everybody looking at it. And we just had the first US city to mine Bitcoin, like the first city that's actually, and they passed actually quite easily. I was surprised. It's Fort Worth, Texas, and that means that a whole new era is opening up. So Anton, I just wanted to ask you, what does ViaBTC do, and what does it offer for mining and miners?
Okay, thank you. ViaBTC started as a mining pool and now offers crypto exchange, wallet, blockchain explorer, and transaction accelerator. Speaking of miners, now we provide all-in-one mining services, including few unique features such as fast mining profit payments, we pay it once an hour, manual withdrawal, which is available anytime, zero fee fast transactions to CoinEx exchange, and hedging and loan financial services.
Awesome. So the hedging and loan financial services, incidentally, it's a very new thing. I don't really know that there are other mining pools that are offering anything like that. It's something that I think people are going to be more and more interested in, depending on how long this bear market works. It's actually quite a novel thing that if we had more time, I'd really ask you a lot of questions about it, because that's actually a very
Sure.
I've been looking around to see, does anybody else actually do that? I really haven't seen anyone. It's using mining as finance is actually a pretty cool thing. So right now in the financial markets, as anyone may have noticed, we've hit this period of, we had high inflation, and then we had, in the US, we had Jerome Powell, who is the head of the Fed, who has decided to not only raise interest rates precipitously, he's done it very fast and very steeply, which is called front loading the interest rates. So those of you who enjoy economics, I hope there's a lot of you, but I suspect it's all three of you. We probably all know each other. But the economics have actually been really interesting, because the tool that they're using right now to raise interest rates to fight inflation isn't actually the right tool for the kind of inflation that we had. And so we're seeing this, massive slowdown of the market, but not a reduction in prices. So that's super fun. And unfortunately, a lot of other countries seem to take the US methodology for dealing with inflation, and a lot of other countries are copying us, even though they have the exact same problem. So I've got a whole rant on it, but I will spare you all, because who wants to hear that? It's midnight where I am, and so I don't know who wants to hear a rant on it, but I got a good one on interest rates and economics and why this is just wrong. But I will spare everyone. You're welcome, and we'll move on. But I just wanted to I want to ask now, Anton. So what's your view of the market right now? How does mining fit in? And have you noticed any difference between mining in past bear markets? We have very fast cycles here. So of course, we've experienced a couple of bear markets if you've been in for a minute. What have you seen any differences between this bear market and prior bear markets? And what do you think about the state of the market right now?
Okay, that's a very good question. So as we can see right now, this year, the global economy has declined due to multiple factors, including COVID, some frequent extreme climate events, and some geopolitical tensions, of course. Meanwhile, facing high inflation, central banks have had to adopt macro adjustments. So, in particular, every move of the Federal Reserve, which enjoys absolute dominance, of course, has been closely watched by the rest of the world. So, according to CoinGlass, the Bitcoin Greed and Fear Index, it stands at about 17 today, if I'm correct. This indicates extreme panic, which is caused by the following reasons. So, the first reason, Bitcoin has been heading downtrend for 9 consecutive weeks, setting the longest record in the history. So the falling price has hurt market confidence. The second reason, the continued sharp decline has minimized the profit margin of cryptocurrencies, which made the field less appealing. And the growth rate of number of non-zero Bitcoin addresses has also declined. The current economic conditions look bleak, which is the third reason with the apparent declines. Meanwhile, the Fed's interest rate hike and balance sheet shrinking have showed how uncertain things can be, which made investors more nervous. And it is very difficult to bring new volatility into the market. So to sum up, the whole crypto market has entered a bear cycle and is unlikely to rebound in the short to medium term. However, for the miners, the impact is limited and insignificant. In fact, this is not the first time that miners have been thrown into such conditions. We can see that Bitcoin has been declared dead hundreds of times during the past 12 years since its birth.
I think we're literally on 27. This is the 27th time since I think 2018 that it's been called.
Yes, probably.
Like it's like someone did a count and I was like, wow, it happens all the time.
Yes, a lot of times. So it has endured countless doubts. Having gone through some throws and peaks, Bitcoin has witnessed both extended bear markets and crypto glory days as well. For example, in May 2021, some countries, they cracked down on crypto mining, including Bitcoin mining. So upon the introduction of what was called the strictest ban on crypto mining in history, the Bitcoin price fell by 34%, if I'm correct, on the same day. Meanwhile, other cryptos, they didn't escape the impact as well. So at one point, Ethereum was cut in half, and then trending cryptos like Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, they also fell by 56% and 64% respectively. So this was also the biggest 24-hour price drop since the September 4th crash and the March 12th meltdown. Many mining farms, they were shut down, and mining machines were sold at very low prices in social media groups. However, most miners who stayed in the industry by moving their mining business to other countries, they made a lot of profit last year. So this is the case because since the latter half of 2021, big name conventional companies, they started to make investment in cryptocurrency. And some internet tycoons like Meta or Tencent, they also ventured into the blockchain space to grab more market shares, which created some bullish conditions for cryptos, including Bitcoin. So as a result, the total market cap of cryptocurrency peaked at nearly 3 trillion. It must be 3 trillion in the last year, if I'm correct. So although we have entered a bear cycle, miners should focus on the long-term prospect, and there is no need to panic, actually. So in today's market, miners can still gain some profit from the cryptos they mine every day, as long as the price of their mining machines stays above the shutdown price. So if miners wish to maximize their profits, they can also join ViaBTC and try out our hedging service, our crypto loan service, which are two financial features of our mining pool that can help miners to maximize the value of their cryptos without some temporal restraints. Okay, so with our hedging service, miners, they can avoid losses arising from crypto slums by locking in profits at a price which they are satisfied with. In this way, miners can better ensure long-term returns of mining. So through crypto loans, which is the opposite of hedging service, users who believe that the market will go bullish and need extra funds to maintain their mining machines, they can borrow loans from our company and then spend the money on their daily operations, for example, such as some electricity or hosting bills. So in short, crypto loans help users to deal with the turnover of their funds. So that's it.
That's pretty impressive. Honestly, the hedging and the loan process, that's basically about trying to smooth out and project your own financial gain. Like you can actually smooth out your income over time so that you don't experience peaks and troughs. And then you can actually use the financing to grow. I don't know if anybody's tried to apply for a bank loan to get a miner, like to get some mining equipment. Doesn't go as well as you'd imagine. So having access to additional funds to be able to get more of this equipment, you know, if you're trying to set yourself up as a significant miner is actually something that I think is quite useful. The other thing is for people that are thinking about, you know, oh, well, if mining slows down, what happens to the chain? I just want to remind people, like for the Bitcoin blockchain particularly, when China shut down, which is what Anton was talking about earlier, it was about half of the chain that got shut down, and nobody noticed. Nobody noticed, like, unless you were checking the transaction closing times, no one noticed that half the security of the chain, half the chain mining was gone. And when it came back online, it was just like, yay, it's a little bit faster now. But that's a pretty amazing chain, I have to say. Like, that's a pretty remarkable thing. You know, like I can just think of, like, you know, what happens when one AWS server goes down and like everybody's like, the internet's broken, you know? So like, it's pretty amazing. Like half of it can go down. Can you imagine half of AWS going down? And like people still, like, it would be like chaos in the streets. People would be rioting. They'd be like, nothing works. It's terrible. So anyway, so MarQuis, what is your view of the market overall? Do you have any advice for miners right now?
As far as mining, I would tell everybody it's just like a business. Start off as a business, because I think a lot of people hear mining and they're like, oh, it's a losing game. When really, when people think about it, it's just like if you are mining gold, or if you are mining into yourself as a basketball player, you put in that hard work, you're not going to see the rewards up front. So look at it as a business. Me personally, you learn as you go. So everybody talks about ASIC miners. I love ASIC miners. Those were the rigs that I started off with at first. Then I started learning about SD cards. So it's your preference on what you want to do. But I think, to me, financially, I think SD cards give me more value bang for my buck. If I'm getting the S19, I'm going to be spending anywhere from about, you know, $6, $7 per day. I'm going to be paying my electricity bill, which I think is about about 8 cents per hour or something like that. So I'm profiting about anywhere $4, maybe $3 per rig. I started mining a little bit like 2020. I got in it kind of late. I was more of an investor, a day trader. Investing in Bitcoin is in the bear market is just as good as mining it. If you have the funds, this is not financial advice, but if you have the funds, investing in Bitcoin is just as good as mining it. Now, the difference between mining and investing is that you get 2 times the price when you're mining. And what do I mean by that? So when you're mining a Bitcoin using an ASIC miner or using your SD cards or whatever, you're paying an electricity bill, but you're also getting Bitcoin. So when people say your profit margin is going to be $3, your profit margin is really anywhere from $10 to $15. But people are talking about the electricity rate that you're going to be paying depending on where you live. So you're paying that, but you're also receiving Satoshis in exchange for that. So you're really getting double the price. So I wouldn't look at it as necessarily a loss, only if you're looking at it from a business aspect. But if you're looking at it from an investing aspect, it's literally a triple threat. It's a win-win, because you're getting your Satoshis for your electricity, you're getting your Satoshis from your profit, plus you have a mining rig. And I advise everybody as well to get a mining rig. The best time to get a mining rig is during the bear market, because just like Bitcoin, the mining rigs actually go down in price. So your natural mining rig, your S19 is going to go for anywhere from, at a high point, it's going to go anywhere from 12,000. You might see some for 16. At the low end, you might see some for 10. Currently in the bear market that we're in right now, you can get you an S19 anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000. Now, as we go back into the bull market in the future, maybe 2024, right after the halving, which that's when it always happens every 4 quarters. Everybody knows that. Or if you don't, now you know. When the price goes up in Bitcoin, your ASIC miner as well, or your SD cards, whatever rig you have, goes up 50 to 70% as well. So I'm not saying sell your ASIC miners, but I'm telling you that when the bear market goes up, your mining rig becomes more valuable, because people want to get into it. Everybody's more, oh, it's Bitcoin, I want to mine, let me buy one of these, you know, the FOMO situation. So I just think that it's very important to know the different aspects, when to get in, you know, when to get out. You should know the 366-day rule. You should know about the halvings, and this helps you when you mine, because you know exactly when to get more hash rate and when to use less hash rate. You know exactly when to get into cloud mining. You know exactly when to get into mining pools, such as, oh my God, sorry, such as VIA. So it's very beneficial to know the differences, especially with the mining pools and the cloud mining. those are very beneficial. If you only have one rig and you want to mine a little bit faster, I would tell people right now, like it might take 5,000, 6,000 mining rigs to get you 1 BTC in a day. I think that's like the hash rate if I'm putting it all together, because Bitcoin is around like $20,000, fluctuating around 19 or 20. So it might take you 5,000 or 6,000 mining rigs to get you 1 BTC in a day. You can only do that if you're a part of a pool and you receive those rewards. Now, a lot of people are like, what's the point of me, doing it by myself versus doing it with a cloud mining or doing it on the mining pool? Well, first of all, sustainability. And it's a lot of things we can go into, but I don't want to talk too much about it. But my cloud mining pools, get you an ASIC 19 or get you some SD cards, and we can off to the races.
So know when to use cloud mining versus a mining pool. Know when to buy. And if you guys remember when it was around 60K, when Bitcoin was around 60K, do you guys remember like people were like going to Best Buy and stripping out parts to make, like there were no cards. Like there was an article, I think, that people were writing to Intel. Can you please send me something? I'll pay you whatever.
Yeah, I just think people are doing it backwards. During the time when, just like when they say it was Rothschild, when there's blood in the streets, you buy. When there's blood in the streets, this is the time for you to take opportunity for yourself. Because if Bitcoin is at $60,000, that literally means you're making 3x on your Satoshis when you're mining. So instead of me making $10, I'll be actually making $30 when Bitcoin is at $60 when I'm mining. The electricity cost, guess what? It's still going to be the same.
I mean, I just remember there were people who were like looking through like nieces and nephews' old games, like old, like their consoles and stuff. And they were like, what do you have in here? Can I use it? I'll get you a new one because it is jacked down. So we can't actually use it for my, people are crazy. So that, and knowing your energy price. I mean, I think those are some key factors in figuring out exactly like what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and make sure you stay on top of this market. So Simon, what do you consider to be the most important factors when a miner is deciding to mine and how to mine? What are the most important factors that you look at?
Okay, so I haven't spoken today, so let me quickly introduce myself. I'm cryptoUK. I run a UK YouTube channel where I review different sort of projects, crypto projects and different blockchain projects. So what is my opinion about mining? And of course, it's an important thing, and it's a topic that's on the rise. With the current markets that are down, a lot of people will be panicking about what to do. They see that the markets are crashing. They see that most cryptos are down from their all-time highs. And it's obviously, as a person that I myself, I trade, I invest myself, I've adopted the mindset of being a long-term person in this game. It's sort of chess, not checkers, It's not a quick race. It's not a sprint by marathon when it comes to these things. When it comes to mining and, for example, BTC mining, it's all about ensuring a stable, efficient income. So, for example, if you're a new miner, you need to ensure that you have considered the most efficient routes, such as picking yourself a decent mining farm. So a farm that will have decent electricity fees and overall expenditures for the actual mining farms. You need to look at different local policies for the different regions that you're mining in. For example, some areas will offer cheap electricity, but some may offer some sort of hidden clauses, which will occur in greater losses later down the line. You need to be aware of your expenses and know what the specific area has to offer. I would also recommend to choosing different, like the best mining rigs, and yeah, just knowing what you're doing. Like once you have your mining farm, once you have your specific mining rig, your mining cost will be largely determined, and it will ensure that you have stable returns. As it was mentioned before, people are doing it like the opposite way. When Bitcoin was at $60,000, everyone was chasing Bitcoin, saying that they wanted Bitcoin. But the way I view it is that it's the same with sales. You know, every year there's so many sales on different things. Black Friday, Christmas, everyone wants to shop. And the way I see the market right now is that it's an opportunity to get involved. You don't want to be buying when the price is at the top. You want to be buying when the price is at the bottom to get the best possible price and think long term. You know, this is all about long term investments, and yeah, chess not checkers.
I think that's awesome. I mean, what is your view then on like, so are you for cloud mining at all? Do you do that? Or are you mostly like, do you do pools? Like what's your preference? What do you review most even?
Well, I haven't really looked into cloud mining before, but mining in general is sort of a thing that I'm getting into myself. Like considering mining, I am sort of a beginner. So I'm reviewing everything and I'm researching, and like it was said, the next bull run will be in the next 2 years, 3 years. You know, no one knows exactly when the price will jump up, but I am preparing everything myself to get involved as a miner, and to be prepared for the future.
That's awesome. That is, preparing for the future is like the most important thing, right? It's preparing for the future and making sure that you're ready when the next spike comes. So, you know, the thing about pooling is one of those ways that you can actually offset some of your cost and still take part of great benefit that you don't have to lay out yourself. I mean, that's one of the reasons people get into pools. Especially if you don't have like $100,000 that you want to lay out for a significant enough set of rigs. It's definitely one of the ways that I see a lot of people really taking advantage so that they can get themselves situated and ready for the next rise. So one of the issues that we hear a lot about is that, there's like new regulations in a bunch of different jurisdictions. Like here in New York, there was a big regulation that came up where they're limiting the amount of Bitcoin miners that's possible. And we hear this over and over again about the high power consumption. The issues with limiting, even in New York, all deal with concern about fossil fuels, the high amount of energy spend, and there's this huge international focus that's going on right now in these like tangible energy use goals based on these UN ESG and climate goals. So like these environmental standards that are being taken in by all of the national regulatory agencies, like not just in the US, but in other countries as well. So Anton, with respect to this like green mining or the clean energy mining, is it possible to do that? Do you think that that's a large scale possibility? And what is ViaBTC doing in that area?
Okay, thank you. So ViaBTC is one of the staunch advocates of mining with the clean energy among mining pools. In the world suffering from global warming, energy crisis, sustainable development has become a global consensus, right? So, and we can see that despite the possibility of an era of the digital economy, which was revealed by Bitcoin, it also has been criticized for its high energy consumption. So by the end of the last year, dozens of countries and regions, they have proposed zero carbon or carbon neutral climate goals. So the Energy and Climate Intelligence Unit, it has disclosed that most countries have formulated plans to achieve carbon neutrality within 50 years. which means that the world will face a huge challenge of energy conservation and emission reduction. So solving the problem of high energy consumption while ensuring the stable operation of the Bitcoin network has become a very big challenge for us. And to meet this challenge, ViaBTC has been looking for solutions for energy sustainability that apply to the mining industry. For example, we have partnered up with Tsarenok company, which is a Singapore-based operator of clear computing power that integrates power, electricity, and thermal energy. So their company invented some sort of a recyclable triangle, which means that the heat generated by BTC mining machines will be turned into clean and renewable thermal energy through waste heat recovery. And then the heat will be used to power the Bitcoin mining machines. We believe that this model can effectively reduce the carbon emissions and realize the secondary utilization of the energy. According to the Block Explorer, the global BTC hash rate of our mining pool stands at 21 exahashes. Meanwhile, the unit power consumption of Antminer S19XP is about 21.5 watts for 1 terahash. Therefore, a hash rate of 21 exahashes means that there is a huge amount of energy consumed every second. However, if Tsarenok's liquid cooling and waste heat recovery technology is adopted, then about 70% of this energy could be converted and reused. So the ViaBTC mining pool has been keeping track of the latest development in clean computing power, and we hope to work with more companies like Tsarenok to strike a balance between clean energy and crypto mining and discuss the future trend of the two fields.
See, people are doing stuff about this. And there's this weird sort of like ongoing thing that whatever existed in 2018 is the way everybody still views this. Like it's, you know, like that's awesome. I think addressing the issue is that's a huge benefit. So, so Simon, what are your thoughts on green mining and the future of mining?
Yeah, so obviously the world is heading in the direction where everyone wants to go green. So it'll be interesting to see how cryptos will adapt to this problem. I think that most projects will have to change something. They will have to be more sustainable. And it is important for mining because obviously at the moment, Bitcoin is the greatest cryptocurrency that gives off the most emissions, with having a lot of countries mine it, China being one of the biggest one, USA. So obviously as more people get involved within mining and as more countries join in on the trend, cryptocurrencies will have to switch up the way that they do things right now to make them more sustainable. In my opinion, it is good to that things are going green because they will actually show what sort of cryptocurrencies are sustainable and how projects can change, you know. So it's going to be good to see. Yeah, it's going to be good to see how things play out. For the time being, obviously, it's not like everything's changing right now. I believe it will happen gradually, but it just puts the pressure on different sorts of projects to adapt to this new green way of mining, and yeah, it is important for the future because it will mean that a lot of miners will have to also adapt to it. Will have to change the sort of resources, but the outcome the best for the environment, and it will play a massive part in in this community.
I mean, I think I agree. I think that green mining is going to be a big issue. So, I mean, but what do you think, MarQuis? Are you putting money in those volcano mining rigs that they're apparently building in El Salvador? Is that viable? Like, does anybody know if that's viable, the volcano rigs? Like,
I think it's legit. I think there's about 2 projects doing volcano.
for real? Wow, awesome! I can't wait to see those.
I-
So,
I-
what are your thoughts on it, though?
Yeah, as far as going green, that's more for bigger operations. And I think they should focus more on hydroelectric. A lot of companies will get pushback from the major entities and, you know, the peoples of the world worried about how much Bitcoin usage is needed for Bitcoins to be mined in general. So I think that's pretty much their issue, major mining companies. So I know that a few companies right now are using flowing water. I know that Costa Rica is using it. I know that New York, they're using their dam, China as well. So people are using valuable resources to go green. And I think about when Elon Musk tweeted about last year, they were complaining about it, and Michael Saylor and all those guys got together. I think about there was at least 48% change on the Go Green initiative when using Bitcoin. And that's when Elon kind of like, you know, got off the gas on talking about Bitcoin. Like he didn't know anyway. I mean, he's the co-creator of PayPal, one of the early investors in PayPal. So it's like he knew. So I will talk about hydroelectric. I will also talk about renewable energy. So for the people that live in more colder environments, they can definitely use the heat from the mining rigs. I also know about using renewable energy that comes from wind, also solar. So, I mean, we're trying to get into the whole solar situation just with our housing and electricity in the first place, just living as humans. So I think it going towards something that's not as big as that issue. I think it being forced on Bitcoin more than what we use as far as consumption as our homes and everyday uses. I think that, you know, just down the line, more people should get more in tune on renewable energy. I myself, I can't do hydro. I don't own a dam. I don't own a volcano. I don't own any of those things. So I think that
I mean, who does?
I mean, personally, what I've learned and what costs less for me because I have a connection with the cards, the SD cards provide a lot. I actually consume less wattage per day. I consume about 1,000 watts less per day using SD cards. And SD cards cost a little bit more depending on who you know. You can get you an SD card. You can get you an AMD 6700 XT. You can get one for about like 500 on the market like that. So if you got 10 of them, that's about $5,000. The rig right now, the ASIC mining rig right now is about $5,000, which is like 40% or 50% off right now. So let's just say I'm mining more, I'm getting more for my buck with the SD cards, and I'm also saving watts per day using my SD cards. But most people don't know how to put an SD card mining rig together. So for me to get $5 a day profit, okay, which means I'm getting about 15 on the low end, 25 max on a good day mining Bitcoin, I'm going to be using anywhere from, let's say, like 12 SD cards max, and that's just for one rig, and I'm going to be profiting about $5, $6 a day, something like that, on my SD cards, and saving 1,000 watts. So that's me going green after I already accumulated so many S19s. Then I started learning about SD cards and saving on the watts, which saves me more money on profitability when I'm mining Bitcoin. Also saves the energy use in the world. So I'm doing my part. I'm doing what I can.
I feel you. I mean, you know, what's really interesting though is people have gotten really creative. I mean, that's a really creative way of like trying to save power at the same time that you're actively using the rigs. I've seen some really interesting uses of offset heat. So they're reducing the amount of cooling that you have to do by shipping the heat out and actually using it for like garden resources, heating buildings, things like that, using it for piping and stuff. And then I think that in the Central African Republic, where they've now adopted Bitcoin as a currency, I think that one of the things that they're looking at doing is solar farms, right, to power these rigs, which makes sense. And so you use what you got, and you know, work hard to make it a focus. I think that that's, you know, like that's what everybody should do in general, you know, mining rig or otherwise. I think it's a good goal to have. So yeah, my goodness. I am looking, where did this?
And, you know,
I just found it. No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I've heard that a few mining facilities in Siberia, they use this worm to heat up the houses.
See, I've heard
So
this is
it's also the green
use.
mining project as well. Yeah.
That's a great use. And I've seen, especially, so it works mostly in cold weather places. I think in Chicago, they were looking at doing one where they had a green roof, right? So you can grow stuff on the roof. And then they had they were talking about using mining to heat the building. And I think that those kinds of things I love the creativity in it. Like, if nothing else, the blockchain community tends to be super innovative and very like jerry-riggy, you know, like we just kind of make something work, like, you know, I'll put these things together and it'll make it work. But I think that kind of thing is actually something like what I'd look for ideally is something where if the energy offset could actually do something like collectively run small power grids, I think that would actually be pretty amazing. Because right now it's not actually the Bitcoin rigs that are the huge problem. It's that people are using things like electric cars and stuff like that, but they're still run off of coal-fired plants. Most of the plants that we have are coal-fired plants. So, you know, you can talk about the energy drain on one side, but ultimately we're all using like there's very little renewable energy in a lot of these plants. So where is the energy coming from? It's coming from these fossil fuel plants. So that's actually the thing I'd like to see the most. So just personally, not that anyone asked me, but that's what I want. Okay, so just for ViaBTC, it is their 6-year anniversary. Happy anniversary, happy birthday. They spend a month celebrating their birthday. Now, I honestly think like my birthday should be a month long. I love this idea of celebrating for a month, but you go in the wrong way because you guys are giving away $50,000 for your birthday. They celebrate it for a month every year, which I think is pretty cool. But whereas I like to receive presents, you are giving them. So which is pretty awesome. This the giveaway I think ends July 1st. Is that right? Like you have to get through it. You got to sign up before the 1st, and it's the 28th now. So sign up now. And I was just looking to make sure that I had the site so that I can give it to you correctly, and hopefully it'll be written on this. It's www.viabtc.com/sign up to sign up for ViaBTC. And then in there's also that you can look for when you sign up, when you click on it, go to 6th anniversary giveaway, and it gives you all the information about it. Again, like giving away presents for your birthday, that's, you know, not something I think I've done, but it's a very cool concept. I love it. I think it's very generous. So Anton, can you just tell us about the future plans that you have for ViaBTC?
Yeah, sure. As for the future plans, I think that we'll keep focusing on the research and development of the ViaBTC mining pool. So although the mining pool has introduced a big amount of products and features and earned extensive recognition from miners and mining companies during the past 6 years, we still have a very long way to go before we create some more satisfying user experiences and innovative flagship products. So going forward, we will always put our users first. We will continue to improve our products, optimize the experience, provide more stable returns, more satisfying services, and also improve security measures for miners from all around the world. So we always believe that the blockchain technology can show us a different world, and ViaBTC wants to make a contribution to the innovation and growth of blockchain and rush into the era of blockchain economy together with our users.
Fantastic. So really, thank you all so much. I am Alexandra Damsker. It's great to meet you all, to the ones I'm now just meeting. Several of you already met. And I'm a crypto educator and a lawyer, but Anton and MarQuis and Simon, it's been fantastic. Wonderful to see you guys. I really appreciate the time that you guys have had and the information and sharing all the incredible wealth of knowledge that you have. You really, guys, you do have a ton, and I think everybody's going to appreciate learning all this stuff. So thanks again. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.